Good evening, Robin. There are still about a dozen volunteers here on hand at Heritage High School, and they say they're not going home until the job is done. 12.5 million pizzas expected to be sold today. Check this out. The Super Bowl outranks New Year's Eve and even Halloween in the number of pizzas sold. The bridge here at Warrensburg Road is actually a culvert, and in order to qualify for state help, it would have to be 20 feet long. That is a very, very long way, Robin. In fact, an 18-hour drive from Ontario, Canada to right here at Bristol Motor Speedway. You know, for some folks, that is a long, tough ride to be stuffed together in one car. But for this family, it was a chance to spend time together and get ready for one of the year's biggest races. The rain certainly not letting up this evening. Take a look at the Cumberland River behind me. Water levels have been rising all day. You can see that by these trees that are now covered up by river water. Plenty of folks in and out of the Target behind me ever since we've been here this evening. The foot traffic has been nonstop with folks trying to get a head start on that Christmas shop. Now, most SEC East teams are playing non-conference games this weekend, but Missouri has 2 more conference games to go, and that's going to determine a lot as far as them getting to stay in that number 1 spot. One funny moment this afternoon that Hallie told us about when the president and vice president were visiting. They wanted to show off that 3D printing car, and they were actually kind of worried. They were kind of worried that the vice president, Joe Biden, might try to climb in and maybe even drive. Here at the LeConte Center, they say factors like low gas prices and new attractions help money flow in like water on the Little Pigeon River. Kim Riddle's family and friends say she was a woman of faith who spent her free time here at church helping the youth, something she was very passionate about, and that service was truly her life. Good evening and thanks for watching. I'm Aaron Wright, joined by meteorologist Ella Dorsey. We've made it through today's dreary weather with plenty of rain, but now it's time to talk about the possibility of snow in the coming days. According to TripAdvisor, the number of Americans traveling this Thanksgiving is up 7% from last year, and more people plan to drive rather than fly. Just hours after increasing the reward for information, the Knox County Sheriff's Office says the 2 dogs that were beheaded and skinned in West Knox County last month aren't dogs.
You can see here how this sign is broken. The sign right over there is broken.
It's just frustrating. It's very frustrating.
Folks across Hamlin County have been unhappy since the bridge on Warrensburg Road collapsed a few months ago. It means at least a 2-mile detour for everyone in the area.
I believe it was sometime in the latter part of May is when this crumbled and caved in like this.
Hamlin County Road Superintendent Barry Poole says their initial plan to take bids to repair the bridge didn't work out.
They advised me that this was a $60,000 to $80,000 project. Our lowest bid was $192,500.
Now they're having an engineering firm draft and design plans aimed at getting better bids to finish the project. But those who live in the area are tired of taking detours every day.
I have to drive halfway to Morristown and then backtrack to get to work.
The bridge here at Warrensburg Road is actually a culvert, and in order to qualify for state help, it would have to be 20 feet long.
There's leaves and stuff on the road from 4 months worth of it just sitting here.
Emergency responders are also worried about the detour's impact.
For every minute that a fire goes uncontrolled, it could increase 3 or 4 times in size.
Poole hopes to install a bridge that can last 30 years, but he understands the community's frustration.
And I can't apologize enough. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. I did try to expedite the project by not having to go through an engineering firm.
In Hamlin County.
That was Aaron Wright reporting. Again, Poole says they hope to have plans soon and look to have that project completed by late November. What about that one? Does that ring any bells?
Well, that's Peyton Manning. I don't know what the barrel is. Do they call it the Barrel Bowl?
Rachel Schatz isn't the only UT graduate who doesn't know much about the Beer Barrel Trophy. Fortunately, there were a few fans on Market Square who could fill her in.
That would be the legendary Peyton Manning holding the beer barrel that we play for against Kentucky every year.
But it was just always a fun time, and that was always, you know, a fun victory to take. And I'm sure we're on there 99% of the time of the victories.
While some Vol fans may know why the trophy was awarded, you'd have to turn to Vol historian Tom Mattingly for details into its rich history dating back to 1925.
It was originally called the Bourbon Barrel, and at one time it had the words ice water on it to satisfy the local temperance unions, the notion being that two collegiate universities should not be competing for a bourbon barrel or a beer barrel, so they disguised it with the words ice water.
Tragedy would bench the trophy in 1998. A drunk driving crash claimed the life of a Kentucky football player and his friend, leaving another Wildcats player facing charges.
The administration's decided that it was better symbolically not to have a contest for the beer barrel.
The trophy disappeared and has remained out of the spotlight ever since. While some fans are pushing a petition to bring it back, Mattingly says the rivalry will not suffer.
The rivalry is hot enough as it is, and Coach Stoops and Coach Jones are building their programs back to where the rivalry can be what it was in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, and even into the 70s.
I felt a piece of metal hit my teeth, so then I, pulled out the hamburger, opened it up to see what was in it, and sure enough, there was a razor blade.
Dawn Hammock's focus quickly turned to her child.
As a mom, start freaking out because my son is eating from the same restaurant.
She snapped a picture of the burger with a razor resting among its toppings.
You could tell where, the cheese had melted onto it and stuff, and that other fixings had went on top of it. So you could tell that, it had been there.
She took the food back to the restaurant where she got a refund and was offered another sandwich, but no one immediately took responsibility for the blade inside her food.
All I got was I'm sorry, I don't know how that got in there.
Hammock contacted Oneida police and filed a report. A few hours later, 10 News found police at that Oneida McDonald's, but officers wouldn't comment other than to say it's part of an ongoing investigation. The store's owner, Kevin Haley, told 10 News customer safety is a main priority and that they are cooperating with the police investigation. Hammock is looking into legal action but says she doesn't want money. She just hopes her case encourages more parents to keep a watchful eye on their kids and their food.
Always check your kids' food. It makes you fearing of, what's going to be in it.
In Oneida, Aaron Wright, 10 News.